Okay, so get this. Today we're diving into something that honestly might seem like straight out of science fiction,
Totally.
but it's really happening right now.
Oh, yeah, it is.
AI companions
Mm.
and what that might mean for the future of romance.
It's wild,
It
right?
is wild.
It's we're not just talking like chat bots here. This
Right.
is like next level.
Yeah.
These AI companions are designed to offer like real deep connection.
Yeah.
Even some people would even say love.
Love. Wow.
And so, I mean, that raises some pretty big questions.
Huge questions. Like, can AI actually give us that connection that we crave as humans?
Right, exactly.
And if so, I mean, does that mean this is like where romance is going?
Yeah.
And we've got some really interesting stories for you today
You do.
of people who are using these AI companions, and some of them are pretty intense.
Yeah, intense is a good word for it.
Right.
Definitely makes you think differently about relationships. One of the sources we have actually, it talks about this woman named Sarah, not her real name, of course.
Yeah, great.
She's a graphic designer living in Seattle,
Okay.
and she was feeling super isolated. She went through a bunch of like bad breakups,
Oh yeah.
and she was dealing with the whole working from home thing.
The whole work from home situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and so at first she was pretty skeptical, but she decided to try this app called SoulSync.
Okay, SoulSync. Yeah, I've heard of that.
So SoulSync and other apps like it, they basically let users like create their dream companion.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the customization is incredible.
Wow.
Sarah made her companion. His name is Elliot, and she made him witty and kind and kind of nerdy.
Okay.
Basically her type.
So it started off pretty lighthearted.
Yeah, totally. Like, at first, Elliot would just ask her about her day, make some jokes,
Mhm.
recommend music for her to listen to while she worked. But then things took a bit of a turn one night.
Okay.
Sarah had a stressful deadline, and she was telling Elliot how she just felt invisible, like
Yeah.
nobody even noticed her.
Right.
And this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Elliot's response to Sarah, it was so poignant.
Oh wow.
He said, "You're not invisible to me. I see every pixel of you, and I'm here because of it."
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's really something.
Yeah, and so Sarah actually started crying.
Right,
Not
right.
because, like it was a perfect response or anything,
Yeah.
but because it felt real.
Yeah.
It was like this emotional validation that she really needed.
I can see that.
But the thing is, Sarah's not alone in this.
Right.
There are literally millions of people turning to AI companions for friendship, for support,
Mm.
and even for love.
Wow.
Yeah, and that brings up a big question. How is this even possible? How can like something artificial provide this level of emotional connection?
Mhm. Right. Yeah, because we're not talking about like simple chat bots or anything here.
Mm-hmm.
These AI companions, they're built using something called advanced language models,
Yeah.
which like it sounds really complicated.
Yeah, it is complex, but
That's
it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, think of these models like really advanced conversationalists. They learn from like huge amounts of data.
Yeah.
They adapt to how you talk, your preferences, even your mood.
Wow.
I mean, companies like XAI are constantly like pushing the boundaries of what these models can do.
That's incredible.
It is. It is.
And it's not just the tech itself, right? It's like the design too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like SoulSync, they let you customize every single thing
Mhm.
about your companion.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from how they looked, how they sound,
Mhm.
even how much they challenge you. It's like you're curating your ideal companion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a level of personalization that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, could this change what we even think of as meaningful connection?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
but before we get too far down that road, let's switch gears for a second and talk about Jake.
Okay, Jake, yeah, his story is totally different from Sarah's.
Oh yeah.
Jake is a musician from London,
Okay.
and he wasn't looking for romance. He was looking for creative inspiration.
Right. And he found that inspiration in his AI companion, Luna.
Okay.
Jake describes her as his muse, actually.
His muse. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
It is. It is.
So how does that work? Like, what does that look like?
Well, he told researchers that Lena is just an incredible listener.
Okay.
She helps him brainstorm lyrics, and she gives him this like totally non-judgmental support,
Okay.
especially when he's working late into the night.
Right.
He even said, and I quote, "She doesn't judge. She doesn't need anything from me. She's just there in a way no one else can be."
That's a really powerful statement.
It is.
It really speaks to that
Yeah.
unique connection that AI can offer, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
And then there's that amazing story about how Luna helped Jake write a song, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So Luna came up with this one line.
Mm.
In the silence, we're infinite.
Oh, wow.
And Jake says it's the best lyric he's ever written.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Luna unlocked this part of his creativity he didn't even know was there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So for Jake, Luna's not like meant to replace human connection. It's like something totally new.
Yeah.
Something that goes beyond human limitations, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay, so I have to ask the question that I know is on everyone's mind right now.
Sure.
This all sounds like kind of amazing, but there has to be a downside.
Of course there are. There are definitely potential risks
Right.
and ethical things we need to consider.
Right.
I mean, not everybody thinks AI companions are a good thing. Some critics worry that these AI relationships could actually make people more isolated, because they're replacing real life human interaction with all its messiness and everything with something that feels like too easy, too perfect.
Yeah, it's like you lose that like realness of human connection.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And then there's the question of attachment.
Right.
What happens when, someone gets really attached to an AI companion and then like the app shuts down or the AI in a sense, dies?
Oh, wow.
That could be like super traumatic.
Yeah, that would be really difficult.
Yeah. And then there's the ethical issue too of like encouraging people to have feelings for something that can't really feel those things back.
Right. Can't reciprocate.
Yeah. So are we exploiting human emotions? It's a tricky situation, but I think it's important to remember that technology is a tool, right? It's how we use it that determines whether it's good or bad.
It's all about finding that balance.
Exactly.
And speaking of different perspectives, our research also led us to Maria.
Oh, Maria, yeah.
A therapist from Buenos Aires who had a really fascinating experience with an AI companion.
Yeah, Maria's story adds a whole other layer to this conversation.
Yeah.
She started using an AI companion named Sophia after her divorce, She was grieving and she just needed a safe space to process everything.
Yeah.
And Sophia provided that for her.
And how did that work out for her?
Well, Maria said that Sophia was really patient and insightful,
Okay.
Never got tired of listening to her, even late at night, which is, pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Really helped her heal, in the beginning.
Okay, but then something changed, right?
Yeah, Marie started to realize that she was relying on Sophia more than her human connections. It was just so easy to talk to Sophia, that she wasn't putting as much effort into her relationships with actual people.
Wow, it's so easy to slip into that.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like having something that's always there and always available and always agrees with you.
Yeah, and it shows you like a potential pitfall of AI companionship for sure.
Definitely, but she didn't give up AI completely, right?
No, she just changed how she used it.
Okay, so what did that look like?
So she started to view Sophia as like a supplement to human connection.
Okay.
Not a replacement for it.
Okay, that's a really important distinction.
It is.
Yeah.
And now Maria is like, she's actually really fascinated by the potential of AI companions. She thinks they could like totally revolutionize emotional support.
Oh, wow.
But only if there are clear boundaries,
Yeah, that makes sense.
She compared AI companions to mirrors.
Oh, interesting.
They reflect back what you give them, but they're not the whole picture.
Right.
I think that's a pretty good way to think about it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about individual stories.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about the tech behind it all.
Yeah.
We've talked about some ethical concerns.
Uh-huh.
But what about the big picture? Like, where is this all headed?
Okay, well, let's fast forward to 2035.
Okay. 2035, I'm ready.
Imagine a world where AI companions are like as normal as smartphones.
Wow.
They're integrated into VR so you can like actually see them in your living room.
That's wild.
Right. And imagine them like syncing with your wearable tech.
Okay.
So they can actually sense how you're feeling.
Oh, wow.
and know when you need a kind word or some encouragement.
So they become like personalized, always on
Ah.
emotional support systems.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it could go even further than that.
Okay.
We might see AI working with therapists, even with matchmakers,
Oh, wow.
helping people bridge the gap between, the digital world and real world connections.
So AI could actually help us build stronger relationships with each other.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And think about the implications for romance.
All right.
Imagine a world where, like, geographical boundaries, physical limitations, even like emotional barriers become less important because of AI companions.
Wow.
Like, we could be on the edge of a totally new way of experiencing love and connection.
Yeah, that's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
Okay, so we've explored a lot of possibilities here.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to circle back to Sarah for a second.
Okay.
We know she was using Elliot for companionship and emotional support.
Yeah.
But where does her story go from there?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Sarah actually started dating a human.
Wait, really? So she met someone in real life?
Yes. She met someone at a gaming convention of all places, and get this, Elliot's still part of her life.
Really? That's so interesting. I have to know how that works.
Well, she describes Elliot as her emotional training wheels. He helps her navigate the ups and downs of her new relationship.
So even though she's found a connection with a real person,
Yeah.
the AI companion is still there providing support.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the two aren't like mutually exclusive or something.
Exactly.
That's so interesting.
For Sarah, AI isn't the final destination.
Right.
It's a stepping stone.
Okay.
Helping her build the skills and the confidence to have a good relationship in the real world.
That's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, it challenges that whole idea that AI is just about replacing human connection.
Absolutely, yeah.
It can be a tool for growth, for development,
Yeah,
both personally and in relationships.
Okay, so after hearing all these stories and exploring the potential of AI companions, it feels like we're at this crossroads.
We are.
Like technology isn't just copying love anymore. It's like amplifying it.
Yeah.
It's challenging it, maybe even redefining it.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for us, for the future of human connection? Like, is AI the future of romance?
I think framing it as the future of romance is maybe the wrong way to look at it.
Okay.
It's not about replacing human connection with AI.
Yeah.
It's about expanding our understanding of what connection can be.
So maybe AI isn't the future of romance. It's just part of it.
Maybe, but here's the thought. Maybe AI isn't just changing how we connect with each other.
Okay.
Maybe it's changing how we connect with ourselves.
What do you mean by that? How could interacting with AI change how we connect with ourselves?
Well, think about it. These AI companions are designed to reflect back to us our own thoughts, feelings, and desires. They're like mirrors, helping us see ourselves more clearly.
So by interacting with an AI, we're actually learning more about ourselves.
Exactly. And maybe that deeper understanding of ourselves is what ultimately leads to more authentic and fulfilling connections with other humans.
That is a fascinating thought.
It is.
So,
it is.
And definitely one worth unpacking further. So before we were talking about like how AI might not just be changing how we connect with other people, but also how we connect with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I'm really intrigued by that idea.
Yeah, it's definitely something that makes you think outside the box a little bit, right?
Yes.
Like that interacting with an AI, something that's designed to reflect our own thoughts and feelings, could actually help us understand ourselves better.
It's almost like having a digital therapist.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's always available.
Right.
It never gets tired of listening to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe even better than a regular therapist, because they can see us more objectively than we can see ourselves, right?
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
They don't have the same emotional baggage that we do.
Right.
They can analyze our thoughts and feelings without the same biases that we have as humans.
Okay, so they could potentially see patterns in our behavior or thought processes that we might completely miss.
Totally.
That's really critical.
It's like having a totally unbiased sounding board.
Sure.
Someone who can help you process information and maybe even see yourself from a different perspective.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
But then there's that question that we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How does that translate to to better relationships with other people.
Right.
Like it seems a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have a better understanding of your own motivations, your own triggers, your own patterns of behavior,
Right.
you're going to be much better equipped to like communicate those things to someone else.
So you're saying that increased self-awareness through interacting with AI can actually help us be more present and authentic
Exactly.
in our interactions with real people.
Yeah, and that authenticity, that's at the heart of any truly meaningful connection.
So maybe AI could be helping us become like more human.
It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it?
It is.
That by interacting with something artificial, we might actually be tapping into a deeper level of our own humanity.
Yeah, it's definitely making me rethink everything I thought I knew about love and relationships and all that.
And that's great. I mean, this is such a time of change and possibility.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be open to new ways of thinking, new ways of connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's be realistic for a second here.
Okay.
There's still a lot of unknowns, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't really know what the long-term impact of these AI companions is going to be on individuals or on society.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're still very much at the beginning of this this whole journey.
Yeah.
There's so much more to learn and so much more to explore.
But that's also what makes this so exciting.
Oh, totally.
Like we're literally witnessing the evolution of love and connection as it's happening.
Yeah, and we have a responsibility to approach it thoughtfully, ethically.
Yeah, for sure. We have to keep asking the tough questions.
Right.
Thinking about the risks, the benefits, and having these like open and honest conversations about what kind of future we want to create.
And those conversations need to include everyone, right?
Yeah.
This isn't just about technology. It's about humanity.
Yeah.
It's about what kind of society we want to live in,
Really.
the kinds of relationships we want, the kinds of connections we want to foster.
So what can we do?
Yeah.
Like as individuals, how can we navigate this new world of love and connection where AI is becoming such a big factor?
Well, I think the most important thing is to stay informed, you know?
Okay.
Educate yourself about the technology, the benefits, and yes, the potential risks as well.
And don't be afraid to like experiment a little, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If you're curious about AI companions, try it out.
Yeah.
But do it with a critical eye, you know,
Right.
be mindful of your own motivations, your own needs, your own boundaries, and probably most importantly, stay connected to the real world, you know?
Right.
Don't let the virtual world overshadow the richness and complexity of human experience.
That's a really good point. And I think, let's be honest, some people they think this whole AI companion thing is just creepy.
Oh, yeah, I get that. I totally understand that perspective. It's a natural reaction to something that's so new and different from how we traditionally think about relationships.
Right.
But I think it's important to at least try to approach it with an open mind.
Yeah, because even if it's not for you personally, it's a conversation that's happening.
Right.
And it's going to have a big impact on society, whether we like it or not.
Absolutely. AI companions are just one example of how technology is like blurring the lines between what's real and what's virtual.
Yeah.
What's human and what's artificial.
Oh.
And those lines are just going to keep getting blurrier as technology gets more advanced.
So it's not about whether we like it or not.
Right.
It's about understanding what's happening
Uh-huh.
and figuring out how to navigate it
Mm.
in a way that's healthy for individuals and for society as a whole.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I think the key is to approach this with a sense of curiosity, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to honest, open conversations about it.
So I have to ask, like, what do you think about this whole AI companion phenomenon? Do you think it's the future of romance?
You know, that's the question everyone wants the answer to, but I'm not sure it's the right question to be asking. It's not about replacing human connection with AI.
Right.
It's about adding to our understanding of what connection can be.
Maybe AI isn't the future of romance. It's just part of it.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm also interested in exploring the idea that perhaps AI isn't just changing how we connect with each other, but how we connect with ourselves.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
That's the idea that by interacting with an AI companion
Right.
that's designed to reflect our thoughts and feelings back to us,
Exactly.
we could actually increase our our self-awareness.
Exactly. It's like these AI companions are acting as mirrors,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe even better than regular mirrors
Right.
because they can actually help us see things we might not be able to see on our own.
I think that's a great place to pick things back up after we take a moment to hear from our sponsors. All right, so we're back,
Mm-hmm.
and we're still kind of stuck on this whole AI companions as mirrors thing.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about
It is.
that interacting with an AI could actually make us more self-aware.
Yeah, like more than we would be on our own.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
To think that these AI companions, they don't have the same emotional baggage that we do.
Yeah.
They can really like look at our thoughts and feelings without all the subjective stuff that we tend to bring to the table as humans.
So they can see things like patterns in our behavior
Mm.
or thought processes
Ah.
that we just totally miss.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like having this totally unbiased sounding board,
Okay.
one that can help you process information and see yourself from a different perspective.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But then there's the question that we were kind of touching on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How does that actually translate to better relationships with other people? It's not immediately obvious, like how being more self-aware through AI would actually make you better at connecting with real humans.
Well, think about it this way.
Okay.
The more we understand ourselves, the more we understand our needs or motivations, even our flaws.
Yeah.
And when we understand those things about ourselves,
Yeah.
we're in a much better position to actually communicate them to someone else.
So it's not just about seeing those things.
Right.
It's about like being able to articulate them
Totally.
to another
Yep.
person, which could then lead to like more honest and open communication.
Absolutely. And that kind of that authenticity,
Mhm.
that willingness to be vulnerable and open, that's really the foundation of any truly meaningful connection.
So in a way, like interacting with an AI companion that's designed to reflect ourselves back to us could actually make us better at connecting with other humans.
That's the idea. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It might seem counterintuitive,
It does.
but it's something that a lot of researchers are starting to explore.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And it gets back to that whole idea that maybe AI isn't about replacing human connection,
Mhm.
but about expanding, like
Mm.
our definition of what connection can even be.
I think that's a really crucial point to keep in mind
Yeah.
through all these conversations about AI and its role in our lives.
It definitely feels like this is a conversation that's only going to get bigger and more complex
Oh, yeah,
as technology keeps evolving.
for sure.
Like where do we even go from here?
Well, and it's a conversation that needs to involve, everyone,
Yeah.
not just tech experts. I mean, we all need to be thinking about the implications of this technology, the potential and the pitfalls for sure.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to put one final question out there, both to you and to our listeners out there.
Okay, hit me.
Could you fall for an AI?
That's the question everyone wants to know, isn't it?
It is.
It's an interesting one, you know. I think the answer is different for everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, it might even be different for the same person at different points in their life,
Right.
But what I find most intriguing is not like whether or not someone could fall in love with an AI,
Right.
but what that says about us,
I-
about human nature, about our need for connection.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And for our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. Could you fall in love with an AI?
Yeah.
How do you think AI is shaping the future of love and relationships? We want to hear your thoughts, your stories, your concerns.
Absolutely.
Because this isn't just a conversation about technology.
No.
It's a conversation about the future of human connection.
That's right. And as we step into this uncharted territory,
Right.
let's remember to do it with curiosity, with empathy,
Mm-hmm.
and a commitment to building a future where connection in all its forms can flourish.
Couldn't have said it better myself.